What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Growing Out the Box. I'm out here this morning just harvesting a few things from the garden, but my man Broke Farmer, I saw him doing the TNOG's 2022 Spring Garden Wrap-Up, so I decided I would participate. I had an opportunity to come on their live chat when they did the Georgia Gardeners, and my confidence level wasn't all the way there to be in front of the camera for that long. I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to get in front of the camera and try to get a little comfortable. And maybe 2023, you'll see a little bit more of me on camera doing a little more talking. I like doing my voiceovers. All of you are familiar with that. That makes me comfortable. But what I found is a lot of times being uncomfortable is where you get your most growth. And that is what this is all about. So I think the first question on Ms. TNOG's 2022 Spring Garden Challenge was, would you grow in 2023? Absolutely, yes. My grandfather used to grow. I watched a lot of what he was doing because I was pretty much like his shadow. As I've grown into my own garden, there's so much of what I saw him doing that I didn't understand. And as I go back and do a little research into it now, I realized that they knew what they were doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little talking, but I'm also going to do a little harvesting, because when I tell you this garden has been productive this year, that's an understatement. And I got bags. Next question on the TNOG 2022 Spring Garden Wrap-Up. What vegetable did you grow in 2022 that you would not grow in 2023? And for me, that's an unfair question, because I love absolutely everything that I've done in the garden this year. I would have to say that everything that I've tried to grow, it actually did pretty well. And you'll see that by the haul that I have at the end of this video. And as you can see, it's still blushing a little bit, but these are about ready. I'll take them off because what'll happen is the birds will start to chirp at them. These are my orange. I think these are red up front. Those are red bell peppers. Right here we have, these are gypsies, and they'll turn a deep dark orange as well. Right here are yellows. Up front are some big Berthas, and I haven't had any of the big Berthas yet, but they're just now starting to come in real good, because of course the heat, sweet peppers do not like the heat. That's the bottom line. So if you're dropping fruit prematurely from your peppers, your sweet peppers for that matter, dropping flowers, the plant is really going into survival mode. It wants to relieve itself of the stress of trying to produce fruit in a time where the plant is really stressing with all the heat. So that's a protective mode given by nature that the plants actually do. That is in its DNA. Now your hot peppers are a whole different story, because the hot peppers actually thrive in the heat. That's the time to put hot peppers into the garden during the hot summer months. Sweet peppers, they require a little bit of shade. Now I do have, what I'm working on is pretty much like an umbrella to go over my sweet peppers, because now that the temperature has kind of come down again, they're starting to produce, as you can see. So I was having that same issue. My peppers were dropping, but I do understand why they were dropping, so it wasn't a panic thing for me. So we're going to do preventive maintenance coming up in the future, which is something that I kind of pride myself on. I start off on something that I'm not familiar with. I do a lot of research on it, and when I run into the problems, I guess it's a plus minus thing I like to say, I'll stick with it till I figure it out. And again, my solution for my peppers and being able to grow in the heat is first my watering pattern, but also just providing a little shade for them. In the future, you will see sort of like a canopy over my peppers and my tomatoes going into the summer months. I think I'm going to leave these on the plant for a while and just let them do what they do. They still got a couple of days before they really come in well. And we're going to move on to question number 3. Which vegetable did you like growing most in 2022? And that would be hands down my squash. I would absolutely say that was from a challenging standpoint. Last year I tried to do this, and that was my first year gardening, and it was an abysmal fail. Now, I'm not going to put all the onus on me because the squash vine borers had a whole lot to do with that. What I've done this year is something just a little different. I'm growing vertically, so these are just now starting to get to the point to where I can start picking them up, and you can see that I got a little something happening right here. This I picked off earlier. I didn't want to leave this out here much longer for anything to happen to it. This is my blessing for this morning. This is the first time that I've ever grown any squash, and it's quite a rewarding experience. Thus far, everything seems to be going according to the plan. So what I've done different this year, and I'm not even sure if this is the contributing factor as to why the squash vine borers have not attacked so far. Anytime I prune, and I do prune, as you can see, I make sure that I keep the airflow going to keep the powdery mildew from coming in. One of the things that I believe is a contributing factor after doing a little research, and of course a little of my own little, as you would say, Jeffroing, my ciphering. When I prune, I also go back and over those wounds, those open leaf cuts, they're hollow branches, and that's where the squash vine borer travels up in there. That moth comes in, lays its larva, the larva hatches, and then it burrows into the plant, and then it just basically just destroys the plant. But as you can see, these are very healthy, and that's because I heavily prune. I really do. I heavily prune. I really can't understate how much I actually prune. But you'll see this thing has little babies everywhere on there. How do you know the difference between a male and a female? This is a female right here. She has the fruit on the end. This is a male flower. So that'll open up in a bit. I have a few of them that are open already. And so this plant is doing her thing. I do believe personally, from my own accounts and from what I've seen, and in theory, some things just, you don't have to have a science book to make it make sense. But if something makes sense to you in the garden and you want to try it, try it. It's your garden. I mean, that's one thing I like to hear when you hear Broke Farmer, you know, or even Miss Linda. She'll tell you, she's like, well, that's not what I do, but it's your garden, so try it. So a lot of the things that I do are growing out the box. That's really what the channel is all about. And as I grow out the box, I want to bring you guys along with me and experience not just how to grow fruit, but how to grow spiritually, mentally, and physically. Because I don't bring a tiller out here. I like to carry things around the garden. So I basically turn this into like a little workout. Anytime I'm out here working in the yard. So any plots that you see out here that have been, the grass has been taken up, I do that with a hoe and a shovel. You know, I come out here and I sweat, and at the end of the day, I feel good about myself. And just to let you know, I'm 56 years old. You know, that's something that I used to shy away from, you know, because, you know, I was still trying to hold on to that youth, but I'm embracing that. The older I get, I realize that that's a platform I can stand on, because not a lot of people my age are able to get out here and do the things that I do. And to think, in 2020, they said I had asthma. Go figure. Since they told me I had asthma, and getting out here into the garden and trying to better myself, trying to get myself back to full strength after what I think was a battle with COVID, the original COVID, I think I have everything under control. I can come out here, I can cut grass, do all those things. So I'm not saying that the doctors are not always correct in their diagnosis, but I am saying there are a lot of things that we can do ourselves to boost our immune system. Part of it is eating healthy, and the other part is exercise. So I use this garden as a multi-tier in growing out the box. That's really what it is. It's more than just the plants that are growing out the box, but it's just thinking a different way and trying to do something that you haven't done before. And number 4, what thing will you not do in your garden in 2023? The thing that I would not do in my garden is put my raised beds on the soil. And what I stain with is called eco wood treatment. So this is not your Home Depot or Lowe's stain that you see on these beds. This is actually a plant-based stain that I've been testing out. I don't like to tell people about things until it's been proven. A lot of my beds are going on 1.5 years with this eco wood treatment, and this stuff really works. So I do have a video on this. This stuff is supposed to last up to 4 to 5 years without having to reapply. On the new beds, I've used it as well, and I am very happy with the way that came out. So once again, number 4 is what I would not do in 2023 is I would not be putting them onto the soil. I would be doing these concrete forms that I've built on the last few beds. So that's what you'll see me doing from this point going forward. So I want to say thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit that thumbs up if you like this video, and also click that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new content. Until then, growing out the box.